What's up, guys? Jay here with what I believe is going to be my first YouTube video ever. So if you've stumbled across this channel, go ahead and leave this video a like, give me a sub, and at the end of the video, tell me in the comments how you think I did, how I can improve, and let's just go ahead and get right into it. So this video, the title of this video is going to be, my first time smoking weed, but I need to clarify this isn't going to be about the first time smoking weed. Rather, it's going to be about the first time that I actually got high. Because I believe prior to this night, I had smoked 3 times and didn't feel anything from it, which is actually a very common thing. I would even argue that most of the time for people just starting out smoking weed the first couple times, they don't actually get high, and there's actually some science behind that, but I'm not going to pretend like I know what I'm talking about. But yeah, so I had smoked 3 times, didn't feel anything. So this night was actually the first night that I ever got high. Up to this point, I have never done any drugs, never drank. I was a sheltered private school kid, so coming across people with drugs and access to alcohol was actually pretty rare, because I went to a very small private school, and that shit just wasn't around. So I believe this story takes place, I want to say, my freshman year of high school. I feel like I could be wrong, could be my sophomore year, but that doesn't matter. We're gonna go with freshman year, and it's a Friday night. I'm with my friend, we're going to call him Toby. And Toby, I'm so sorry for giving you that name. That is literally like the worst fucking name of all time. But we're going to go with it. So I'm with my friend Toby, and we're trying to figure out what we're going to do. Again, we're both sheltered private school kids. It's not like someone at our school is throwing a rager somewhere, except for, there might be a rager at the church, whatever the fuck that means. Our parents wanted us to fucking worship Jesus all the time and all that shit. Anyways, that's besides the point. So we're trying to figure out what to do. And I tossed the idea around to Toby. I was like, hey, man, we should hit up our friend. We're going to call him Piggy. That's actually the nickname that we gave him early on. Or I'm sorry, I didn't give him that nickname. I don't actually know how we got that nickname. But very early on, someone along the way gave him the nickname Piggy, and it just kind of stuck. And it was just kind of legendary, honestly. And Piggy had gone to the early years of school with us. He left after probably sometime either 7th or 8th grade. He went to go to high school at public school. And I knew Piggy was a big stoner and always had weed. And I think he even sold a little bit of weed to his friends. And if I'm wrong on that, Piggy, I'm sorry for A, outing you, or B, I'm sorry for making up shit that's not true. But you did sell me weed a couple times, so I labeled you as a drug dealer. Anyways, so I tossed the idea around, hey, let's hit up Piggy. I know he's got weed. I want to get high. And, Toby's like, absolutely, that sounds great, And Toby's putting up a front, he's acting like he smoked and he's been high so many times. And I'm doing the same thing, acting like we're pros and talking about how we could outsmoke Wiz Khalifa and all that shit. But anyways, hit up Piggy. I'm like, yo, can we slide through? We're trying to smoke. And he's like, yeah, for sure, man. And Piggy lives like literally 2 minutes away from my house. We live super close. We used to walk to this park that was between both of our houses, and we would smoke weed. Or actually, if I recall, that happened once, and he smoked weed at this park, and I just watched him because at the time, I was too chicken to actually smoke. Actually, no, that's not true. The reason I didn't smoke that one time was because I had to go back home and face my parents, and I was too scared to see what was going to happen. Anyways, we're getting off topic here. So we go hit up Piggy. We slide through, show up to Piggy's house, knock on the door, yada, yada, yada. He comes out. We dap each other up. He busts out the pipe, and he busts out the weed, and he's saying, some shit like, oh, dude, this shit is super sticky, and I'm pretending like I know what the fuck that means. And Piggy busts out the pipe. He busts out the weed, and it's go time, and I'm nervous. But I'm mostly excited. You see, I wasn't the kid who, wanted to smoke weed because it was cool or that's what the cool kids are doing. I was genuinely curious about getting high on weed. Again, up to this moment, I had only been sober, and it's from a fairly young age, I was very curious about marijuana, and I just really wanted to get high. So, in my head, I'm like, tonight's the night, man. I'd smoked 3 times. Tonight's the night. I finally get stoned. I finally meet Jesus, whatever the fuck. So yeah, he loads the pipe. He takes his hit, and he hits that shit like a pro. He doesn't cough. He doesn't let out anything, and he passes the pipe to Toby. Now, Toby, this dude was fronting the whole night. Toby was the kind of dude who had no intention of getting high that night. He puts the pipe to his mouth and he holds that shit in his cheeks. He doesn't even inhale. He holds it in his cheeks because he does not want to get high. And, that's his right. That's fine. But he's fronting. That's all that I'm saying. So Toby takes his hit, or Calf takes his hit, and hands the pipe to me. I'm looking at this thing and I'm like, oh shit, it's go time. It's happening. I am going to get stoned right here and now. So without hesitation, I put the pipe to my lips. I light the flame to the weed, and I suck harder on that pipe than I ever have on anything in my life. I suck the life out of this fucking pipe, dude. I'm basically blowing this pipe at this moment. And instantaneously, I feel 1,000 sharp burning needles go into my lungs, and I am dying. I drop the pipe on the ground. I even drop the rest of the weed in the pipe on the ground. It spills everywhere, and I'm rolling around in his front lawn coughing. My eyes are tearing up. I'm basically crying at this point. I regret that decision. Instantly, I just regretted it. It hurt so fucking bad. I remember thinking that I was gonna fucking die from that hit. And so after 5 minutes of dying, thinking I have cancer, my friends are laughing at me, I finally stand up, and me and Cody are like, all right, we're gonna dip. We literally showed up to Piggy's house, smoked his weed, and then left. We didn't even hang out with him afterwards. And so me and Toby get into his car, and I don't feel anything up to this point. I really did not feel anything. I thought it was another night of just, it's going to be another letdown. Nothing's going to happen. And then all of a sudden, we're driving home. We're driving back to my place, and that burning, stinging sensation in my lungs turns into like this... How do I describe it? It's like a warm kind of burning sensation in the center of my chest. Like, it started with the cough and the burning, and it transformed into like this warm, like, thickness in my chest that expanded outwards into all of my lungs and body. And then all of a sudden that same feeling is behind my eyes and is going up into my brain, into my head. And then it's just quickly all over me, And then it hits me. I'm like, oh shit, boys. I'm schmacked. I'm stoned. I'm high, bro. I'm fucking there. And I grab the armrest to the left of me, and I grab the door handle to the right of me, because I think I'm floating away, literally. And I ask my friend Toby, I'm like, Toby, I need you to be honest with me, dude. I need you to look me in the eye, and I need you to tell me the fucking truth. He's like, what? I'm like, am I fucking floating right now? You know what he says? No. No, Jacob. You're not floating right now, you fucking moron. And then I ask him if he's floating right now, and you know what he says? No. And he's killing the vibe. And you know why this motherfucker's killing the vibe? Because he wasn't high. He was not on cloud 9. He was not where I was, so he didn't understand why I was acting so fucking stupid. Anyways, again, Piggy's house was like 2 minutes from my place, so at this point, we're already back to my place. We go inside, we go up to my room, and every 5 seconds, I'm asking Toby, I'm like, yo, are we good, bro? Are we good? He's like, yes. He's getting annoyed with me. It's his fault, dude. It's his fault, okay? He could have inhaled, and he would have been where I was, and it would have been a great night. But instead, he had to, quote-unquote, trips at me. Not really. And, yeah, he was just kind of being a dick to me the whole night, but... Anyways, long story short, I just decided to lay down and go to bed. At this point, okay, I felt great. Let's just clarify that. I felt amazing. It was everything that I wanted it to be plus more, but I was definitely paranoid. You know, with smoking weed typically comes some paranoia. You know, I was worried my parents were going to wake up and come see me high and all that shit, and I was not going to be able to act normal and all that shit. So I just decided, I'm just going to go to bed. I shake up with Toby. Toby goes home, and I just go to bed. And yeah, all in all, dude, it was a great night. Very memorable. You know, not much happened, but honestly, out of everything that I've done, all my first times experiences, that was just so memorable because it just exceeded my expectations of what I wanted it to be. It caught me by surprise. You know, you think you know what something is going to be like because people describe it to you, but truly, there's no way of knowing until you actually do it. Now, I'm not going to recommend that anyone goes out there and smokes weed. I will never tell people, I will never condone the use of any drugs or anything like that. But that was definitely one of my most favorite experiences. And yeah, that's going to do it for this video. If you liked it, go ahead and leave a like and subscribe and leave a comment. Tell me about your first time smoking weed, and also leave a comment. Tell me what you thought of the video. Tell me ways I can improve. Again, this is my first YouTube video ever, and I just want to say thanks. Bye.